Welcome back, my friends, to the weekly 3-hour wrestling edition of Never Ending Questions, such as, hey, this is pretty good, why don't they do more of this? Who the fuck approved this comedy bullshit? The answer is always Vince McMahon, and most importantly, something I ask myself, and I put on Twitter multiple times, what's happening? Oh, hi, rerun. I'm John Renton with my review of WWE Raw, and man, if you get that reference, you are just as weird as I am. Anyway, they are going to soon be leaving the award-winning WWE Thunderdome, and I don't know what awards the award-winning WWE Thunderdome has won. I don't give a shit. I just know these LED screens are going to need to find work. Put them in the North and South Pole and have them entertain the penguins and Santa Claus and the elves and the polar bears and everything, and fuck, maybe they could, be something they could float on as the polar ice caps melt, because climate change isn't fucking real, according to Science Denying fuckwits. Anyway, enough about that. So, yeah, they're still in the Thunderdome. The dubbed-in crowd noise, which I fucking hate. The LED screens are so loud, so annoying. It's really cool that the wrestlers have a safe environment to work in, but my God, I'm just going to be so interested to see how the live crowds receive Raw, SmackDown, NXT. Well, NXT, they're actually, they've had a live crowd there for a little bit longer, and sometimes they're good and sometimes they're sitting on their goddamn hands. So in 2 weeks, they're going to be in Dallas. And I hope this crowd is more lively than the family that dominated the Dallas area in the 1980s. And if you get it, you get it. I'm going to fucking hell for that. Anyway, what do you think of the show? Let me know in the comments, please, because I have some criticisms. I also have some praise. So we start off with Miz TV and Morrison. Morrison wants the crowd to witness his dripping D. If I have to picture this stuff, then so do all of you people. What do you mean, you people? So anyway, Drew then comes down and says he's just a relative of Davy Crockett. Wave him like a dog! No, actually it's referring to the Alamo. And man, that's a deep cut for wrestling fans. And he wants Morrison to be extra moist at Money in the Bank. Stop thinking about Morrison's moisture. I know you're thinking about it. You know who you are. Stop it. Get some help. Okay, so yeah, Drew, they are turning Drew into a goof. He's trying to deliver this well, and he has enough conviction, and he looks like a badass, but I'm really worried they're going to turn him into a comedy goof. They kind of already have in the past few months. Ricochet, he cannot cut. I mean, this is probably one of his better promos, but that's on such a short goddamn list. And then Riddle is high. He gets up on the goddamn ladder. It's like, you're almost my height. High five? Almost. I see what he did there. We get it. You smoke weed, you fucking idiot. Here's Styles. He's upset about not being included in the Money in the Bank ladder match, and almost pushes Riddle off the ladder. And because Riddle had a hurt foot, he's selling it. They expect us to feel bad about Riddle. Oh, anyways. And then a melee, or an attempt to do one, because we get Ricochet versus John Morrison. We get Squirtichet because he squirted his way to victory recently. People enjoyed that line, so I thought I'd bring it back. And Morrison's dripping stick. And it's Speed versus Speed. That's pretty much it. No, not going to say that line. Good old Keanu Reeves having something on a bus. So Morrison's misfiring drip stick. It happens with guys his age. It happens with, anybody at any age. And I was in a pool. That's why it misfired. Moving on. So we get a barricade spot. And I'm going to tell you right now, Miz is a hell of a best friend for Morrison. If your best friend doesn't hold your drip stick right by his side, is he really your best friend? I'm going to have so many questions in the comments and on Twitter. I am so sorry, except I'm not. So, a hell of a spike DDT by Ricochet. This was a well-worked match. The problem is we saw it last week, and we're going to see it again next week. We get drip stick distraction, which is really hard to say, and then a weird flip dive outside. I don't know what the hell Ricochet was trying to do. And then Miz, moves with all the power and speed of a mall, wheelchair walker, which doesn't make any goddamn sense at all. And he stops Ricochet from getting back in the ring. We get a count out. Miz and Morrison, fire up the drip sticks, and it's a drip stick emporium. So anyway, we get a Jinder on a motorcycle, and he's wearing a Dijon mustard colored shirt, and that's all I could see. The goons look confused. I actually forgot who the hell they were called. I think one's from that former Indus Sher. He's the one that didn't take the picture of Keith Lee becoming a double champion. And one of the guys from the Superstar Spectacular. What are their names? Let me know in the I totally forgot. So anyway, he wants to beat up Drew McIntyre because he didn't return his calls about going to ride motorcycles. This sadly isn't the stupidest this feud will get. Reggie then sees Alexa while Nia and Shayna don't. Stop with the supernatural motherfucking shit. I know some people like Alexa. That's fine. You can like Alexa all you goddamn well want. I don't want anything bad happening to her. Nothing at all. I feel bad for the fact she lost her pig. I'm a big animal person. Feel sad for her. She's invested in the character. Great. You can't do the supernatural stuff when it's not very good. Oh, it's getting some views. She's not the only reason the ratings have fallen, but anytime there's been a spike, oh, look, the ratings spike because they did this stuff and whatever. They can't even hit 2 fucking million for their flagship show that's been on for nearly 30 fucking years. They need to cut out this stuff, and they need to go back to, I'm not saying basics. You got to have some entertainment in there because Vince McMahon will not allow it to just be sports-based, but this isn't good. It's not for me. If people like it, fine. So anyway, we get recaps of the Kofi MVP, verbal back and forth. If you can seek that clip out, if you haven't gotten a chance, that was really good. So we then get Nikki saying she believes in Massive. God, I'm getting so fucking killed in the comments for this. Naomi and Asuka praise her, but say, because they had to pull a Fat Boy Slim. Had to praise you like I should. Can't really do that because I can't digitize my voice. So anyway, I could, just don't want to edit and take the time. So, yeah, Byron, and by the way, Alexa then shows up and says hi. And then Byron says, I've already purchased my seat on the Ash train. TNA Creative, you know what I want to say. I'm not going to say it. Find me on Twitter. So anyway, let's just say Disney would have approved. So moving on, I hate this Alexa shit. I hate it. I hate the theme. I hate the Firefly Funhouse stuff. I hate it. I've hated the stuff with the Fiend. It ends once the bell rings. And the sad thing is, Alexa can wrestle better than Bray Wyatt. But anyway, we get Asuka, Naomi, Nikki Cross, and Alexa. It's not that Bray can't wrestle, but Bray is more of a character than a wrestler. So anyway, they take on Nia, Shayna, Piper. Her name is Piper. Her name is Piper. No matter how much WWE thinks this whole thing with Piper and Eva is going to help get Piper over, it's not going to work for me. I've pretty much written off Piper as good as she is. She is good. And I hope she can overcome this. I don't think she can. Why does Vince hate the women's division is what I wrote down. Eva Marie, and I don't care if Eva's improved in the ring. Good. She's maybe able to, take a flat backdrop and a back bump and, actually be able to get up, within the next year. Cool. Wrestling's a contact line of entertainment and sport, but Eva couldn't have gotten any worse in the fucking ring. And, she's trolling it. She's only getting in there, doing a few shots, and then getting out and everything. I don't think this is a way to get the fans angry. I just think it's basically highlighting the fact that she sucks. She's always sucked, and she's going to continue to suck. And this return has been fucking abysmal. It has done nothing for Piper. Shayna was the only good worker. Well, her and Piper were the only good workers, but Piper's, weighed down by that goddamn name that she's never, that's an albatross she's never going to get off of her neck. And Nia, what in the goddamn tapestry throwing up on a couch was that fucking outfit? So I was hoping that Alexa's scream right before the break had Scanner's powers. Not that it really would have affected Eva Marie's brain, because her and her stupid goddamn husband, they hate kneeling in national anthems because, they hate equal rights because they're goddamn idiots, and that motherfucker gives men like Jonathan a bad fucking name. And Eva Marie, she can fucking go, kick rocks or whatever, even though that's unfair to rocks because the rocks actually have more usefulness than she ever fucking will. But why was this happening is what I kept writing down. Like, good fucking grief. Nia can't work a goddamn bit. Shayna had to just do everything. She had to yell at Eva Marie to get in the right goddamn spot because Eva Marie's a clueless, stupid twat. And then we get the supernatural bullshit again because Alexa has these powers over Reggie, apparently only over people she can see eye level with. And then Shayna and Asuka would have been something that I would have cared about. Too bad they butchered it. They have basically nuked pretty much 80% of their women's division. SmackDown may not have a lot of women, but at least they have women that can work. And they have Carmella, who can't fucking do anything. And we have Samoan drop on Nikki for 3. And then Eva announces herself the winner. Nia looked like she wanted to, kill her. I would have been all for Nia doing what she did to Lana for a number of weeks, but except putting Eva Marie through multiple goddamn tables until that stupid twat got out of a business that I appreciate, that I love. And I'm sorry, I may just be a goddamn fan, but I'm sorry. Eva Marie is embarrassing to wrestling. And is she supposed to be? Is this by design? Sure. Am I getting work? Am I getting, am I showing that I'm, this crazy fan and everything? Sure. I don't want her to get injured. She's probably going to injure somebody because she can't do anything. And whether I'm talking about Nia or Eva, you let me know in the comments. But in all seriousness, Eva Marie serves no purpose. Besides highlighting the fact that Vince McMahon doesn't give a shit about the women's division. He hasn't, especially since Ronda left, but he really hasn't since Becky left. And if Charlotte's not being featured, then he doesn't care. And even then, I'll get to that. So, not Sheamus, because that's basically his name now. The Irish guy not named Sheamus is interviewing Lashley and MVP. Blondie looked confused, probably because she couldn't see over anybody's shoulder. And Lashley says there's not a soft bone in my body. Giggity. And then there's that one woman that looks like she could lift Lashley with no goddamn effort. Seriously, she's fucking strong as hell. Ali versus Mansoor. In a pre-tape, Ali says he doesn't want Mansoor to end up like him. So Ali gets tangled up in the ropes. Mansoor helps him. And then roll up 1, 2, 3. I mean, the match had a little bit of action, but it didn't much. I don't really... Another thing is Mansoor. I don't really care. And Ali, I love the guy. They're never going to push him. They are never going to push him. And it's really sad. They've had chances to push him. And they failed. And he's pretty much stuck where he's at. And that's really goddamn sad. So Sarah, by the way, was then interviewing Drew McIntyre. And she was eyeing Drew's lengthy claymore. I know somebody else it was. You know who you are. You know who you are. Which gender am I referring to? I'm referring to both. Because you know who you are. Anyway. I'm not saying I wasn't either. So, which was made from the tooth of the Loch Ness Monster. Whoa, Nessie. What in the fucking hell are they doing to Drew McIntyre? Drewing to do McIntyre. I'm just going to roll with that. Man, Drew's really trying hard with this, but it's not good. So, Drew's lengthy claymore exploding inside the Thunderdome. Drew versus Jinder with Co. The two guys with big hair and one with face paint. Man, guys just love, giving Drew deep throat problems. I'm going to let you decide if I'm referring to just targeting his neck or what else. So then the match was fine. Jinder, I'd never care for Jinder. He's fine in the mid-card. His WWE Championship run, I nearly gave up on SmackDown. I nearly said I'm nenever reviewing SmackDown again. Because it was abysmal. Because he sucked as WWE Champion. Whether he tried or not, he fucking sucked. And he's spent the better part of 2 years being injured, which, injuries happen. I'm glad he's okay. But they get a beat down, and this is probably going to be a way to write Drew McIntyre off of, out of the Money in the Bank match, because they're going to beat him down again, and he's going to demand a match, and they're going to take him out, and they're going to add somebody in suddenly. And then Jinder takes his sword. It's going to be a sword on a pole match at SummerSlam, and I hope the crowd boos the shit out of it. So anyway, they are fighting over shampoo. Then Not Sheamus interviews New Day. They talk about, maybe Lashley and MVP can take vacations and take the women with them and go after Kofi beats him at Money in the Bank. Watch them have Xavier turn on Kofi at Money in the Bank because they named New Day the greatest tag team in WWE history. And I emphasize WWE history because there are people that feel that New Day is the greatest tag team of all time. If you do, that's fine. Steiner Brothers, LOD, and so many others exist. Harlem Heat and other stuff like that. I'm just saying. New Day are goddamn good. They're going to have Xavier turn on Kofi. I'd be so surprised if they didn't. So, Dijakovic and Dio, that's what their names are, took on Metalik and Dorado. Why is this happening? What's happening? D. I don't have the energy. Hurricanrana, 1, 2, 3. Dijakovic gets pinned. These teams mean nothing. They're stupid names. Especially for, T-Bar and Mace. Why don't you just give them their walking papers and just give them a year's worth of pay? Seriously, these guys would kill it in New Japan. They'd kill it elsewhere. These names are albatrosses. Albatrosses are the big theme here. So, what in the hydrangeas was Damian Priest's jacket or shirt? I don't know what the hell that was. Riddle was talking about jumping and being high and laying in the deep end. Everybody's working for the deep end. And then Styles took on Riddle in a really good match. Oh no, Riddle hurt his foot. And then he did the Karate Kid thing. It's like he did the crane kick, the Karate Kid community. And then it was well wrestled. Both these guys can work. It's just Riddle. He's a creep. And then almost did Cobra Kai, sweep the leg. And then we get more reversals, leg focus. Riddle got Riddle distracted. We get a dreaded we get dreaded roll-ups all the goddamn times. We get a dreaded roll-up 1, 2, 3. Riddle gets the victory. Actually, this just so goddamn stupid because the Viking Raiders distracted Omos. I wanted to forget that the Viking Raiders goddamn exist because they're a big beefy tag team that don't fucking mean anything because the gimmick's fucking goofy and I fucking hate it. And I swear that I must be I'm becoming this fan that yells at the clouds. I'm just old man yells at cloud because I don't find wrestling entertaining. Sometimes I do. There's levels of entertainment, and the Viking Raiders aren't entertaining. And also, Ivar didn't have his meat out to distract Almost, because let me tell you right now, you can get distracted by seeing another man's sloppy meat right in front of you. I know from experience. Don't ask me for anything more. So anyway, Charlotte then comes out on a crutch and talks about injuries and injuries to NBA players like Anthony Davis. He doesn't just surf the internet, he browse. So then Rhea comes out on a crutch. Rhea is not the heel here. Oh, they were just faking, and they do a crutch fight. This is the worst goddamn built feud that they've had this year. As far as a major feud, this is terrible. Anyway, Elias and Cedric versus the Jackson Rectionists and Truth. Oh no, Jackson Riker wanted to channel his ancestors and, have some ancestral whipping. Check out last week's show if you want to know the title, what that means. And he wanted to whip Truth. And then he wanted to beat up Cedric. But first, they're doing the 24/7 bullshit. I want whoever came up with this concept to be put in an active volcano while every single one of their loved one watches. Because seriously, this is fucking bullshit. I know it's wrestling. It's stupid. This is stupid. It hasn't evolved. Wasn't any good before. Truth chases Tozawa. Tozawa comes down, by the way. Other guy, Truth tries to pin him before the match starts. Other guys come down and Truth chases him off. Naturally, Riker enjoyed beating down the black man, because of course he did, because he's a piece of shit. And, I wonder what's going to happen when he gets fired and nobody else wants to hire him. I mean, Vince probably will have to be convinced, if you will, to fire this piece of shit. And regardless of how I even feel about him personally, even if you take that shit out, he's not any good. He doesn't even look that good. He looks goddamn ridiculous. I mean, he's got the short haircut. I mean, who am I to, criticize somebody's hair? But he looks fucking ridiculous. He's nondescript as well. Like, I couldn't pick him out of a lineup unless I said, oh yeah, that's a racist fuck that deserves to be humiliated every single goddamn day of his life and have his children taken away from him. His wife and children should go and be with somebody else that's a real goddamn man. But anyway, yeah, Elias left and Cedric got pinned. And Riker celebrated pinning down a minority. So next week, Morrison and Squirtichet against each other in a Falls Count Anywhere match. Humberto versus Sheamus for the U.S. title. And it's going to be, I believe, Ivar and Almost, and then Eric and Styles, or reverse that. So if it's Ivar and Almost, it's going to be Ivar's meat on a pole. Vince Russo has struck again. New Day, Xavier and Kofi versus Lashley and MVP. Lashley pacing like a caged animal. Riker's ears are burning. Not like Jim Rome is burning. That was a line from commentary, by the way. Ouch. MVP got, being used as an attraction isn't the worst thing in the world. He's near the end of the road. Him being a manager/wrestler is fine. Kofi got a dive in, and then we got a break. Lashley with the beatdown. Kofi and MVP are back in. Eventually, Xavier manages the blind side. Lashley outside. Trouble in Paradise, 1, 2, 3. And that's it. So, was the show good? There was some good storytelling. There was also some messiness. They gotta stop with the comedy shit. They gotta cut it at least in half. It's not funny. The ratings are reflecting that not a lot of people are watching. And even when they bring crowds back, I don't know if they're going to get over 3 million. They would kill for the numbers they had in 2016, and we thought those ratings were shit. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.